Hey, it's Josie with Affirmation Pod, your home for self-care and reflection. At the time of this recording, we are in the thick of the holiday season, and that's a generally more emotionally charged time. For many of us, we get reflective, there are reminders of things, and it can be a very happy, joyous time, but mixed into that is mourning and grief and loss. And thank you, Jamie, for bringing this up in the Facebook group, because I didn't mention this last week in the episode on when people lose you because you move on, you make the decision to distance yourself, to let them go. Even when it's our own choice, there is a season of mourning, and the holiday season can definitely bring up those emotions. I encourage you, write it out, talk it out, process it, because stuffing it isn't going to help. December's tough for me. That best friend that I talked about a couple of episodes ago that I lost to addiction, her birthday is in December as well. So that's the human experience. There is happy and there is sad. And sometimes both exist. And we need to acknowledge both. I want to say welcome to new listeners. I think a lot of you are finding me on Spotify. I'm on Spotify now. I want to thank Stephanie, who had emailed me to ask if I could be on Spotify. And I appreciate that because that got my gears going to make that happen. By the way, you can also find Affirmation Pod in Google Play, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Stitcher. It's not just iTunes. However you listen, wherever you listen, whatever's convenient for you, go with that. That's what I say. This is the last episode of the Worksheet Series. I've gone through 8 months. Every month has a different focus. Every month has a different worksheet. And we're finally here at the end. It's been great for me to do this because having a different theme for each month helps me with the content. And I did batch most of the episodes. This last 3 in December, and then the last 3 in November were actually done towards the end of 2016. All the others were done earlier because I had a baby and I just wanted to make sure I kept giving you consistent weekly content. And because I was batching, I was doing different things at the same time, including uploading episodes at the same time. And I accidentally uploaded the wrong file for the Time Wasters episode. So I do want to thank Anna. You emailed me back in September to let me know. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you, because I didn't catch it and you did. So I want to send you a big thank you for doing that. Thank you, Anna. Today's episode is going to be a reflection of the last 3 episodes, and interwoven into it is going to be some announcements about the podcast. I've gotten great feedback about the worksheet. Again, if you don't know about this, it is a free 1-page worksheet that you can get at affirmationpod.com/support, where you can go through your life and identify who's in your inner circle, who's in your outer circle, who's in your no longer circle, and who's in your never again circle. It's a great exercise to do at the end of the year. And please remember, life is not a popularity contest. It's the quality of your relationships and how they help you, how you feel. That is important here. Now, 2 episodes ago, I talked about the most important person in your support system, and that's you. And I came up with the acronym MAC, M-A-C, M standing for what are the messages you tell yourself, A is what are the actions that you need to take to be the most supportive person in your support system, and C, what are the changes you need to make. And I said the changes are the toughest part because it's easy for us to know what we should be doing to take care of ourselves. And it's really just a matter of, are we doing them or not? Changes involve us getting out of, I called them the old shoes, and into new shoes that actually support us better. But they can be our blind spots. They're so ingrained in us, some of these old beliefs that we need to change, that we can't even see the need to change. And I wanted to give you a couple of examples from my life, things I've done recently, because I'm taking this journey with you. I need to learn. I need to grow. I need to mature in so many ways. And I'm committed to doing that. That's part of why I make this podcast, is for me. And one core belief I have is I'm a city girl. I don't see myself as someone who's going to go out into nature and, get my hands in the mud. And at least that's my belief. That's my core belief. I was born in the city. I grew up in the city. That's not me. Now, as a parent, I have to really look at myself even more than before. And basically, when I had my son, and this goes to the time management month, I decided not to put my daughter in any courses. Anything that involves us having to be ready and out the door and at a certain place at a certain time wasn't going to work, because having 2 kids, including especially having a baby, is just stress and pressure and unnecessary. However, the end of September, I got an email. A friend emailed me to let me know that there is a new class starting up for toddlers, and it's being taught by a woman who has taught kids and teenagers and adults wilderness camps and lots of nature-based learning programs. I mean, she is a person who could be a contestant on Survivor and has the skills to win. And I signed up. It was compelling enough for me to make that commitment. 1, because I want my daughter, who is also born in the city and is going to grow up in the city, to know nature, to know what it is to feel her hands in the mud. But that's not the only reason. I wanted to go because I wanted to connect with mothers and fathers, and it was some moms there and some dads there, who believe in being out in the wild. I loved the class. I love the instructor. My daughter loved the class. There's one session we were throwing stones into the pond, and my daughter sat at the pond's edge and was throwing dozens of stones, one at a time, but dozens into the pond, and just loving it and enjoying it. And then it came time for the snack time, and my daughter chose to stay at the pond instead of going to the grassy area where the other kids and parents were having snack. And I just stayed with my daughter, with my son strapped to me, and we just threw stones into the pond. And later that day, I realized, I know I have that core belief of I'm a city girl. And I really started to think, why can't a city girl be good with being in nature and going to a wilderness class or whatever it might be? And that shaped my core belief. I guess you could say I reframed my core belief. And so I challenge you to think about the beliefs in your life and kind of the rules and the parameters you put around that. And is that really you? Maybe it's an old version of you. Maybe it's who you were expected to be, but it's not really you. One of the best ways you can be the most important person and the most effective person in your support system is to really be you and know you and love you. And that's why I'm starting to say that at the end of podcast episodes and my Facebook Lives is, go be you, know you, and love you. We can all find an area in our life where we're not being ourselves as much as we could be. We're not knowing ourselves as much as we could be, and we're not loving ourselves as much as we could be. So that's an example of a change I've made in my life, because as the most important person in my support system, I'd now rather not identify myself as a city girl. I may have been born in the city, I may have been raised in the city and still live in the city, but I can enjoy and appreciate the sounds of the leaves or the beauty of a ripple in the pond as my daughter throws one of her many stones. And since we took that course ended at the end of November. We haven't been in nature that much in December. We've been to holiday markets and holiday events, but I want to keep at least once a week taking my entire family. And we do this so much easier in the spring and the summer, but the fall and the winter, it's so much tougher. But I'm committing to starting in January, once a week, getting bundled up and going into nature. That's actually going to be my weekly goal for the first 4 weeks of Tech Life Harmony. That's the accountability and support group I'm starting, and it starts January 1st because I want to be accountable to you on a weekly basis of getting into nature, even in the winter, because that's part of my Tech Life Harmony strategy. If you're interested, there's spots open. affirmationpod.com/harmony is where you'll find the information. And your weekly goal could be something like, I'm going to have device-free meals. When I eat my meals for this week, I will not be on my device. I can instead focus on mindful eating or simply being present with the company around me. My structure for the accountability group is you'll check in once a week to give an update on your Tech Life Harmony goal from the week before. You'll set a new goal for the coming week, and you'll be required to give an encouraging word, supportive word to one other member of the group. The most I'll have in a group is 8 people, and I'm one of those members, and you'll be one of those members, so 6 other people besides you and me. It's an 8-week group starting January 1st to February 28th. If accountability and support sounds like something that will help you for Tech Life Harmony head over to affirmationpod.com/harmony to get the info and sign up. And I want to give total props to those of you who have that discipline, to have tech life harmony, that you are able to monitor and control your time in technology, social media. Give yourself credit, because when we are saying yes to scrolling through our Facebook or our Instagram or checking our emails, even though we just checked them 2 minutes ago, 1 minute ago, 30 seconds ago, when we say yes to those things, we're saying no to something else. And if we can say no to those things, we're saying yes to something else. Anyways, I'm really looking forward to this. It's the Tech Life Harmony Accountability Group. One last time, if you want to get in, affirmationpod.com/harmony. Before I end the episode, I have one last thing to share. It's an announcement, but it's also something that ties in very well with our theme of support system management. The announcement is Affirmation Pod is now a part of a new network, and that network is the Calm Clear Now network. It was recently started by Shell Hamilton of the Meditation Minis podcast. It's been amazing getting to know her, and here's what'll change as a result of me joining this network. First is, starting in January, you're going to hear this at the end of every episode.
This has been a Calm Clear Now network production. Executive producer Shell Hamilton. To discover more meditation, visualization, and affirmation podcasts like this one, visit calmclearnow.com.
There will be other changes as well on the horizon, not right away in January, but I will eventually and finally have an intro for my podcast. I've already picked the music, but it just isn't going to all come together quite yet because I want to get some of the other branding together. So I will also have new branding. My branding is actually quite a mess. So I'm going to make a real effort to try and clean it up in 2017. And I'm also going to start having sponsors for the podcast. Now, a question you may have with, why are you joining a network again? I don't think you really covered that. I'm joining a network for many of the reasons that you probably are thinking of. And one of my old mastermind friends emailed me, and when I told her I was joining a network, she was like, oh, is it because you want to grow your audience more? Do you want to mastermind with the other podcasters? And yes, but I'll tell you one thing, and this is what really made it a heck yeah. Shell Hamilton, I will join your network. I listened to Shell, and she talks about her vision and her plans and things like that. Shell dreams and thinks big. And when I look at my support system, I don't have a lot of people who dream and think big. That doesn't make them bad people. That doesn't make them people that are going to be removed from my inner circle or my outer circle. But when I talked to Shell, I knew that she takes up a spot in my life that I don't really have filled. So thank you, Shell Hamilton, for the invitation to be a part of Calm Clear Now. And I am happy and excited and stoked to be part of Calm Clear Now. By the way, if you want to find out more, it's still in the early building stages, but you can go to calmclearnow.com to find out more. Calmclearnow.com is the website. Thank you so much for tuning in, listening today. Don't forget, Tech Life Harmony starts January 1st. Affirmationpod.com/harmony is where you go to get in. This is now the close of the 8-month Worksheet Series. I will rebroadcast the I Am Clear episode on Wednesday, which is a popular episode and a very fitting one for the support system theme and transitioning to the new year. Next week, I'll be back at it with the affirmations episodes, and next week's episode is going to be on You Are Worthy and Deserving. I'll see you there. Now go be you, know you, and love you. This is Josie with Affirmation Pod, your home for self-care and reflection. Happy New Year.